We'll begin with the basics of plumbing, and for that, we'll go to the site of a new house that's under construction.
We timed this visit to fall after the plumbing rough-in, but before the drywall installation, so we could show you all the pipes that make up a home's plumbing system. That includes the DWV, or the drain, waste, and vent pipes, as well as the water supply pipes going to each fixture.
The fixtures come later, though, but now let's talk about what each one of these pipes does. The two copper pipes are supply pipes. They bring in the hot and the cold water to the sink. This white pipe is the drain, and it's made out of a rigid plastic called PVC. And the pipe that goes above that is the vent. Now, all these pipes tie into the two basic systems of residential plumbing, the water supply system and the drain waste vent system, also called DWV.
Pipes are installed in the walls and floors to keep them hidden, and pipes of neighboring fixtures are sometimes hooked up to a larger one to minimize the use of pipe. Well, here's an example. The drain underneath this toilet flange and the shower drain are hooked up to the same drain, but to show you that, we have to take you under the floor.
Now, the shower and the toilet drains both travel through the ceiling joist, and the toilet drains into this 3-inch pipe, which is called a soil stack. And the shower travels across here where it hooks in with the whirlpool and the vanity drains, which in turn tie into the soil stack. So that means we have 4 different fixtures that are being drained through the soil stack, which goes all the way down the wall, through the floor, and into the basement.
Down here in the basement, the pipe continues through the wall and then goes underneath the slab. Before we poured the slab, we shot some footage so you can see how the stack ties into the main house drain. That's the 4-inch pipe that drains all the house systems. It carries waste outside to a septic tank or a municipal sewage system. The slab covers up the drain here, but this cleanout plug is still exposed. We can unscrew this here, and it allows us to clean out any clogs. Now, these are required at the base of all stacks and along horizontal runs.
The soil stack serves not only as a drain, but also as a vent. It goes up through the ceiling and through the roof. It vents harmful gases out into the open, but it also draws air in to keep a downward flow in the drains.
Now, back down the basement here, let's take a look at the water supply system. In this home, it originates in a private well. It's pumped into this pressure tank, and once it's hooked up, it'll be distributed throughout the house in lines quite a bit smaller than the DWV lines. Most of the supply lines have been laid out upstairs. They're made of copper, with the main runs 3/4 of an inch in diameter, and the branch runs a 1/2 inch in diameter. Like the DWV pipes, the water mains branch off to service several fixtures. The pipes usually run in pairs, with hot and cold water pipes going to fixtures like sinks and tubs. But some fixtures, like toilets, need only a single cold water pipe. The copper tubing is fairly stiff. At the same time, it still needs support on longer runs. Here you can see a piece of copper tubing has been wedged in between the two joists. And where the tubing goes through a hole in the joist, insulation's been stuffed in the hole to keep the pipe from rattling.
Well, are you ready?
Yep. Well, that should give you an idea of what's involved in a plumbing rough-in on a new house.
Now we'd like to give you an idea of what a plumbing rough-in's like when you remodel or add on to an existing home, like we did on one of our past projects. We had already taken out the old plaster and reframed the new walls, so the first plumbing job involved taking out the old cast iron drain pipes snaking through the old part of the house. We worked with a licensed plumber on the new plans and took out all the necessary permits before starting this part of the work. It's important to remember that residential plumbing is closely controlled by local authorities because of its impact on public health and sanitation. In fact, building codes in your area may permit only licensed plumbers to perform even the most common installations or repairs. So be sure to check with your local inspectors and get all necessary permits before starting any work on your own. Once the old pipe was gone, we determined where each of our new fixtures would go and then cut holes as needed to allow the new plumbing to go through the floors, the ceiling, and the walls. This graphic shows the basic layout for this particular project with the drain pipes for each fixture colored dark green and the vent pipes colored light green. Notice how the vents rise up and connect to the main soil stack well above where the highest drain connects to the stack, as required by plumbing codes. Codes also require that each drain be fitted with a trap, which literally traps and holds water after each use to keep sewer gases from entering the house through the drains. Most traps are P-traps secured in the pipe under the fixture. To keep water from siphoning out of the trap, each drain is vented with pipe at least half the diameter of the drain pipe, but no less than 1.5 inches. The stack itself can serve as a wet vent for any fixture less than 30 inches away from it. But there are restrictions on the number of fixtures you can run into a single stack, so check your local codes on that as well. There are two types of plastic commonly used for drain and vent pipes. One is known as ABS, and it's usually black. It's fairly easy to cut with a hacksaw, but on a large project, cutting it with a miter saw makes sense for both speed and accuracy. Before gluing, make sure there are no burrs left on the cut pipe. Now, there's a special glue for ABS pipe that you apply to the outside rim of the pipe and the inside of the fitting. Then push the fitting over the pipe and twist it into position to spread the glue. Work fast because it sets up quickly. PVC is another common material used for drains and vents. You cut it the same way as ABS, but the gluing is different. There's a purple solvent that you apply first to the pipe and fitting to clean the surfaces. Then you apply the special PVC glue to each piece. Once the DWV pipes are finished, then the next step is running all the water supply pipes, starting back at each fixture and running down to where they can be tapped into the existing water mains. The best way to cut copper pipe is with a tube cutter, whose cutting wheel scores the pipe as you turn it. You tighten the wheel down as needed to deepen the cut and keep turning until the pipe snaps. Before joining the fittings and pipes, you eliminate the impurities by reaming out the fitting with a wire brush and cleaning off the end of the pipe with an emery cloth. Next, you apply a paste known as flux to each surface you're joining. Then you sweat the joint, as plumbers like to call it. Push the pieces together and heat the joint evenly with a propane torch. Wear heavy gloves to protect your hands. Solder is used to seal the joint, and it comes on rolls. Hold the end of the solder near the joint while keeping your hand well away from the flame. Once the joint's hot enough, the end of the solder will melt and the flux will help it flow easily into the joint, sealing it tight. Wipe off any excess before it hardens. That should give you the basic idea of what a plumbing rough-in involves. Now let's move ahead in the project and talk about some of the most common do-it-yourself fixture installations.